Welcome to Teraflora Studio, a space where forgotten things find new life and where beauty quietly grows from the simplest hands. Here, every color, every leaf, and every handmade piece tells a story of renewal, care, and harmony with nature. In today's collection, we'll walk together through gardens reborn from the unexpected. Painted bricks that bloom with memory, glass bottles turned into glowing borders of light, and old tires that now cradle life instead of dust. Each creation whispers the same truth, that transformation begins not with what we throw away, but with what we choose to love again. The gentle rhythm of our journey mirrors the gardens we adore, calm, patient, and filled with grace. As we explore each design, imagine the soft fragrance of marigolds, the hum of bees, and sunlight glinting on painted glass. Let every idea invite you to pause, breathe, and see how art and earth can speak the same language. This content is lovingly crafted with the help of artificial intelligence, guided by human creativity and care. The stories, visuals, and compositions you will experience are part of Teraflora Studio's vision, to inspire a world that restores, not replaces. If these moments bring peace to your day, or spark a little idea for your own garden, we invite you to stay with us. Subscribe to Teraflora Studio, and let's continue creating spaces where nature and imagination meet. Softly, beautifully, endlessly. Because sometimes, the quietest things can bloom the brightest. There's a quiet kind of beauty that lives in the corners of a garden, where sunlight finds glass and glass finds color. Here, in the heart of a small backyard, bottles once forgotten now rise again, reborn as bottle blossom borders. Each bottle, once a simple vessel of everyday life, now catches the golden light of afternoon and scatters it across petals of asters and marigolds. Their hues, blue like spring skies, green like forest leaves, amber like honey, whisper a story of renewal. They don't shout for attention. They glow softly, blending with the rhythm of rustling leaves and the hum of bees nearby. Children pass by and see the colors flicker on the ground, their laughter echoing through the yard. To them, it's magic, the way sunlight turns waste into wonder. To the gardener, it's peace, a small act of care, proof that beauty doesn't need perfection, only purpose. As the day folds into dusk, the bottles shimmer faintly, reflecting the fading light like a farewell kiss. The flowers lean gently toward them, as if recognizing a kindred spirit, both created to bring joy, both fleeting yet eternal in memory. In a world that rushes endlessly forward, this border of glass and bloom reminds us to pause, to see that renewal doesn't always begin with something new. Sometimes it begins with what we choose to love again. Here, every color tells a story. Every bottle is a promise that even in the smallest corner of our garden, we can build something timeless, something tender, something that glows. In the gentle quiet of late afternoon, a mosaic bench rests under the dappled shade of an old tree. The air smells faintly of lavender and earth after rain. It's not just a seat. It's a story, told through bricks that once carried the weight of forgotten walls, now reborn in color and grace. Each brick holds a brushstroke of care. Pastel pinks blend softly into mint greens, while ivory tones whisper calm against the bright tapestry of marigolds nearby. The hands that painted them didn't aim for perfection, only peace. And somehow that made it beautiful. Here, time seems to slow. A teacup leaves a faint ring on the bench surface, a sign of quiet moments well spent. Wind passes through asters, bending them gently toward the sun, and the shimmering colors on the bricks catch the light like tiny mosaics of memory. A robin lands close by, curious, tilting its head. It hops along the bench, as if admiring the craftsmanship of human hope, the way something once rough can become gentle again. At sunset, the garden glows softly, and the bench seems alive, its colors deepening under the warm sky. It has become a place of reflection, a companion to those who come seeking calm, proof that renewal doesn't always require grand gestures. Sometimes it's just paint, patience, and purpose. And when night finally arrives, the bench remains, steady, kind, quietly radiant among the blooms. It is more than furniture. It is a pause, a heartbeat of the garden, built from old bricks and new dreams. In the heart of a humble backyard, color begins to rise. Not from walls or canvas, but from the ground itself. 3 painted tires stand proudly, stacked like a sculpture of renewal. Their round forms cradle blooms of marigold and aster, each petal brushing sunlight into the air. This is no longer waste. It is wonder reborn. The gardener remembers when these tires were dull and forgotten, hidden behind the shed. Today, they gleam softly under the morning light, lavender blending into mint, mint melting into cream. Each layer holds soil, life, and hope. The hands that painted them still bear traces of color, proof of effort turned to art. Bees hum lazily between blossoms, tracing invisible lines of joy. A butterfly lands gently on a petal, its wings shimmering like glass. Nearby, sedum creeps down the tower's edge, its soft texture catching the light like silk. The garden feels alive, every corner breathing in rhythm with the season. To someone passing by, it might look like simple decoration. But to the one who built it, it's something deeper, a reminder that beauty doesn't demand perfection. It asks only to be seen, cherished, and given the chance to bloom again. As the day stretches toward evening, the tower glows warmer, bathed in gold. The flowers seem to nod, the leaves sway gently. It's as if the whole garden is whispering, nothing is truly lost when it can still bring joy. And when twilight falls, soft shadows play around the towers, blending tire, soil, and blossom into one quiet harmony. A hymn to renewal sung in the language of color. As twilight descends, the garden begins to breathe in light. Not from the sun, but from within, from bottles once tossed aside, now reborn as tiny keepers of warmth. The rustic bottle candle pathway glows like a soft constellation along the earth, guiding footsteps through flowers and memory alike. Each bottle tells a quiet story. Some once held water, others wine, all now filled with the humble flame of a candle. Together, they shimmer along the path like a gentle chorus, whispering of second chances. The glass captures the flicker, amber, green, and gold, and scatters it across marigold petals dancing in the breeze. The gardener walks slowly between them, listening to the night deepen. Crickets sing softly. The scent of chrysanthemums rises with the warmth of the candlelight. The glow feels alive, neither loud nor proud, but tender, like the pulse of the earth itself. Farther down the path, the air cools. Shadows stretch, yet the bottles hold their light steady, unbothered by the wind. In this simple ritual of reuse, beauty becomes an act of care, a kindness shown not only to the earth but to the soul. By the time the last flame begins to fade, the stars above have joined in, mirroring the gentle lights below. The garden hums in quiet contentment, half dream, half memory. It's a place where time softens, where every step feels guided by a soft glow and a promise that even what was once discarded can illuminate the way again. In the quiet heart of a morning garden, color breathes softly through old brick and green leaves. Once plain and worn, these bricks now rise again, brushed with pastel hues, holding life in their embrace. The pastel brick herb planters stand like gentle storytellers of patience and renewal. The gardener's hands are steady, tracing lines of mint and cream along each brick. The paint catches sunlight like a whisper, and the scent of lavender drifts through the air. Around them, marigolds sway, asters lean closer, and the hum of bees turns the silence into song. Each plant tells its own tale, thyme with its tiny stubborn leaves, rosemary proud and fragrant, basil lush and generous. Together they form a living palette of greens against the faded blush of brick. The colors aren't perfect, yet that's what makes them beautiful. When the day grows warmer, shadows fall across the planters, revealing textures of time, chipped edges, fine cracks, and soft traces of effort. These imperfections are part of their charm, a reminder that art doesn't always need to be flawless, only heartfelt. By evening, the scent of herbs grows deeper, mingling with the cool air. A teapot sits quietly on the nearby chair, steam curling upward. The bricks glow faintly under the fading sun, the pastel tones softening to dusk. It feels like a sigh of contentment, the garden settling into peace. What was once ordinary has become extraordinary through care and color. The hands that shaped it didn't just build planters. They built harmony between texture and tone, earth and sky, life and light. And as night falls, the garden hums softly with gratitude. The pastel bricks rest beneath the stars, carrying within them not just herbs and soil, but the quiet truth that creation begins with love. In a quiet corner of the garden, water glimmers like glass, still, pure, and alive. Once a worn black tire, it now cradles life beneath the open sky. The tire pond oasis breathes softly, reflecting clouds, leaves, and the gentle dance of sunlight on its surface. The gardener had found the tire half buried, forgotten. With patience, they brushed away the dirt, painted it soft teal, and filled it with clear water. Smooth stones lined its edge, moss nestled between them, and soon the first petals of marigold leaned close to meet their reflection. Dragonflies come often now, tracing circles above the pond, their wings catching light like shards of crystal. Sedum spreads quietly along the rim, its greens deep and full. Japanese anemones bow gracefully in the breeze, their petals touching the surface as if in prayer. Each ripple tells a story of transformation, of something ordinary turned sacred through care. The pond mirrors not just the garden, but the heart that shaped it. It doesn't need grandeur. Its charm lies in its humility, in the stillness it brings. When evening drapes the sky in gold and violet, the pond becomes a tiny universe. Reflections blur, the air cools, and the water hums softly with life unseen. The murmur of frogs, the glint of fireflies, the slow sigh of wind through leaves. Here, beauty is not loud. It is patient, grounded, and born from love for what the world overlooks. The Tire Pond Oasis reminds us that serenity doesn't need to be bought. It can be built, one tire, one stone, one petal at a time. And in that still water, under the fading light, something eternal awakens. The gentle truth that nothing is truly waste when it's given a second life. Along the edge of a quiet garden stands a fence that no longer guards. It celebrates. Once plain and gray, it now shimmers like a living canvas, every inch covered in the glint of color. The bottle cap mural fence catches sunlight the way joy catches laughter. Freely, effortlessly, endlessly. Each cap tells a story. Some once sealed bottles of water, others carried memories of gatherings long past. The gardener collected them one by one, cleaned them, painted them in shades of coral, mint, and lavender. Piece by piece, they became something more. Not trash, but texture. Not waste, but wonder. The mural took shape slowly, a rhythm of patience and love. Circles turned into petals. Petals became blossoms. Blossoms into a field of endless bloom. Beneath it, real flowers rise. Marigolds, sedum, and asters, mirroring the colors above. Nature and creation blend in harmony, neither outshining the other. Children passing by stop to watch the sunlight dance across the fence. To them, it looks like a storybook wall, full of hidden dreams. To the gardener, it is proof that beauty can be built from fragments, from things once overlooked. As evening falls, the colors deepen, glowing softly under the low sun. The fence hums with quiet pride, its mosaic alive in the fading light. It doesn't ask for attention. It simply stands there, radiant in its simplicity. A gentle reminder that imagination can turn even the smallest pieces of life into art. In this fence of bottle caps, hope takes form. Each shimmer is a promise that the world still holds color, even in the most forgotten things. And every glance it catches becomes a spark, a whisper saying, "Beauty never ends. It only changes shape." In the hush of an early evening breeze, two tire swings sway softly from an old oak branch. But they no longer carry children, they cradle blossoms. Painted in the hues of calm skies and blushing dawns, these hanging tire flower swings tell the story of joy reborn in gentler form. Each tire once rolled along forgotten roads, carrying dust and distance. Now they carry color. Mint greens and peach tones gleam under the fading sunlight as marigolds spill over the edges, their golden petals catching the light like laughter. Ivy trails down gracefully, wrapping around the ropes as though nature herself wished to hold on. The gardener watches from a wooden chair nearby, hands resting quietly on their lap. It's not just a decoration, it's memory transformed. The swing still moves when the wind sighs, a soft echo of playtime long gone. Yet now, every sway releases fragrance instead of sound. Lavender, chrysanthemum, and sedum dancing in the air. Children from down the road sometimes stop by. They point, eyes wide, asking if the flowers can really swing. And when the gardener nods with a smile, they laugh. That kind of pure, bell-like laughter that feels like spring returning. At dusk, the garden hums with calm. The painted tires glow softly, the flowers lean into the light, and the ropes creak gently like an old lullaby. In this moment, the line between art and life blurs completely. What once carried weight now carries beauty. What once was motion now becomes peace. The hanging tire flower swings are more than garden decor. They are a quiet reminder that even what has been worn by time can bloom again, if we let it hang in the wind and catch the sun just right. When the sun begins to sink, the garden transforms. The air cools, shadows stretch long across the patio, and in one quiet corner, magic begins to breathe. The brick fairy patio corners glow faintly, not from grandeur, but from gentleness. Each brick is brushed with soft color, rose, cream, and sage, their edges imperfect yet endearing. Between them, tiny lights flicker like whispers, revealing miniature houses made of imagination. The gardener kneels nearby, setting a small lantern in place, smiling as it glows against the marigolds and asters that guard the fairy dwellings. It's a humble corner, but it feels alive. The scent of chrysanthemums lingers, sweet and earthy. Ivy climbs up the patio wall, weaving a frame of green around the pastel bricks. The faint sound of wind through leaves plays like distant music, and somewhere, perhaps only in the heart, wings seem to flutter. Children visiting the garden often stop here the longest. They crouch close, eyes wide, searching for the fairies that surely live within. The gardener never confirms, never denies, only smiles, letting the mystery do its work. In their silence, belief takes root. As the evening deepens, the lanterns glow brighter. The bricks catch the light, their painted tones turning warm and golden. Flowers lean toward them as if listening, petals trembling gently in the night breeze. The world beyond the garden grows quiet, but here, everything feels awake. It's more than decoration. It's a secret sanctuary, a place where imagination and peace intertwine. A reminder that beauty doesn't always shout. Sometimes it hums softly in the corners, waiting to be found. And as the last light fades, the little fairy patio seems to sigh, bathed in golden stillness. The gardener lingers for a moment longer, knowing that what has been built here isn't just charm. It's wonder, quietly blooming between brick and belief. When daylight fades and the garden sighs into evening, the pergola awakens. Glass bottles, once empty, once forgotten, now shimmer gently above, filled with candlelight. The bottle lantern pergola glows like a dream suspended between earth and sky. The gardener stands beneath it, watching light ripple through the bottles. Mint green melting into amber, cream into gold. The flames dance softly, reflected on rose petals and ivy leaves. Each bottle sways slightly with the wind, as though the night itself were breathing. Around the pergola, marigolds and asters catch the flicker, their colors deepening in the dusk. A single moth drifts close, circling the glow before vanishing into the garden's hush. The air feels warm, touched by smoke and bloom, peace and memory. This place was built from care, not wealth. The bottles were gathered one by one, their shapes imperfect, their edges worn smooth by time. But together, they became something exquisite, not because they match, but because they belong. The gardener takes a seat beneath the canopy, a teacup resting on the table. The faint crackle of candle wicks echoes the heartbeat of the evening. It is a small, quiet joy, the kind that asks for nothing but presence. When night fully arrives, the pergola becomes a constellation of its own. The bottles glow softly against the darkness, like stars fallen into human hands. The flowers below rest beneath their light, the whole garden holding its breath in quiet awe. Here, light isn't just illumination, it's remembrance, a celebration of the beauty that comes when love and patience meet the ordinary. The bottle lantern pergola stands as proof that even the simplest materials, when touched by intention, can become a sanctuary of warmth. And in that tender glow, between the flicker of candles and the whisper of roses, the world feels gentle again. There's something joyful about color meeting the earth. Along the garden path, old tires find new purpose. Half buried, half blooming, wholly alive. The color-splashed tire borders turn what was once forgotten into a ribbon of happiness that winds through the garden like laughter frozen in paint. Each tire bears a story. Some once raced along dusty roads. Now, they cradle flowers, painted in hues of rose, lemon, and mint. They catch the sunlight and scatter it back as warmth. Marigolds spill across their edges, asters rise between them, and sedum creeps softly over the paint as if embracing it. The gardener remembers the day the first color touched the rubber. A hesitant brushstroke, a quiet hope. Then came another and another until dull black turned into life. It wasn't about perfection. It was about transformation. The border grew slowly, tire by tire, a trail of intention stitched across the soil. Now, when children run past, they stop to trace the curves with their fingers, giggling at how soft the colors look beneath their hands. Neighbors pause, drawn by the cheerful harmony of color and bloom. Even the bees seem to dance longer here, as if the palette itself hums. At sunset, the painted edges glow, their colors deepening in the golden light. The garden seems to exhale, its beauty no longer hidden but sung aloud. The border is not grand, but it is radiant, an anthem to renewal, proof that even what once felt heavy can now hold joy. And as the evening breeze brushes the flowers, the tires rest quietly, no longer symbols of wear but of wonder. The color-splashed tire borders remind us that the world doesn't need to be new to be beautiful. It only needs to be seen differently. Beneath the garden's soft hum lies a path that feels almost alive. A walkway of memories, built from hands and heart. The vintage brick path mosaic weaves through blooms like a quiet song, guiding footsteps through time itself. Each brick has its story. Some were once part of a wall, others lay forgotten under rain and dust. Now they have returned, cleaned, repainted in shades of moss green, dusty rose, and cream. The gardener laid them one by one, feeling the weight of history in every touch. When morning light spills across the path, the colors breathe. The muted tones glow faintly under dew, and marigolds lean closer as if to greet them. Moss grows softly between the bricks, a living stitch binding age and renewal. The path doesn't just connect places, it connects moments. Children run barefoot along it, their laughter bouncing between the flowers. Each footstep echoes gently, blending with the hum of bees and rustling leaves. The gardener smiles from a distance, knowing this mosaic isn't just made of brick. It's made of patience, memory, and grace. By evening, the light turns golden, sliding across the curved walkway. The shadows deepen, outlining every imperfection. And in those imperfections lies the beauty. The chipped edges, the uneven tones, the hand-painted strokes all whisper. This was made with love. When night finally falls, the path holds onto the day's warmth, glowing faintly beneath the moonlight. The garden quiets, but the mosaic remains, like a poem written on the earth. One that speaks of renewal, resilience, and care. The vintage brick path mosaic doesn't boast. It simply exists, humbly beautiful, guiding hearts as much as feet. And in its stillness, it reminds us that the most meaningful journeys are often walked slowly, one soft step, one colored brick at a time. When the wind drifts through the garden, it carries a song soft, glassy, and full of memory. Along the fence, bottles shimmer and chime, their gentle music weaving through blooms and light. The bottle wind chime wall doesn't just decorate, it sings. Each bottle was once silent. Now, painted in shades of aqua and blush, they hang proudly, their surfaces catching both sunlight and sound. When the breeze passes, the air fills with delicate tones, not loud, but pure, like whispers shared between flowers. The gardener remembers finding the first few bottles, dusty and forgotten in a corner of the shed. With patience, they cleaned, painted, and strung them by hand. One by one, they became instruments of peace. When the first melody played, it felt as if the garden itself had exhaled, a sigh of contentment. Nearby, marigolds sway in rhythm, their petals trembling at every soft chime. Bees move slower here, almost as if listening. Even the air seems different, calmer, sweeter, alive with quiet color. At twilight, the light deepens, turning the bottles into lanterns of fading sun. The tones grow gentler, blending with the rustle of leaves and the soft hum of evening insects. The fence glows faintly, each bottle holding the warmth of the day. Visitors pause here without speaking. There's something sacred about it, a harmony too fragile to disturb. The bottle wind chime wall doesn't call for attention. It invites reflection. It teaches that beauty isn't only what we see, but what we hear when we slow down enough to listen. And as night falls, the last note lingers in the air, a quiet promise that even the smallest breeze can create something lasting, something tender, something that reminds us that stillness has a sound. In the quiet hum of morning, the garden awakens, not with flowers this time, but with food. Rows of painted tires cradle life in every shade of green. The mini tire veggie beds stand as proof that beauty and nourishment can bloom side by side. Each tire, once worn and weary, has been reborn into purpose. Painted in soft mint and cream, they rest like gentle rings of promise across the soil. Within them, basil unfurls tender leaves, lettuce glistens with dew, and parsley waves softly in the breeze. Bees drift nearby, pausing between marigold blooms that guard the beds like golden sentinels. The gardener kneels, fingertips brushing soil still cool from the night. Each touch feels like connection, to earth, to life, to something quietly divine. The vegetables are small, but their presence fills the space with peace. The air smells of herbs and sunlight, a fragrance both grounding and free. Neighbors passing by smile when they see it. Such beauty, they say, not realizing how much care hides beneath each coat of paint, each turned handful of earth. To the gardener, this corner is not just a garden, it's hope made visible. When evening comes, light slides across the pastel rims, and the leaves shimmer faintly under gold. The air hums with the sound of life continuing, slow, steady, certain. The tire beds no longer carry the weight of roads. They carry the weight of growth. In their quiet circles, time feels softer. Each plant a small triumph, each bloom a gentle reminder that transformation isn't about grandeur. It's about gratitude. And as night settles, the mini tire veggie beds rest under the stars, glowing faintly from the colors they wear and the life they hold. A humble masterpiece painted not on canvas, but in living green. In one quiet corner of the garden, life gathers gently. A small wall of painted bricks and glass bottles stands not as decoration, but as invitation. The brick and bottle bird corner hums with the soft flutter of wings, a chorus of tiny visitors who find rest, food, and peace here. Each brick tells of human hands, worn, steady, careful, stacked with patience and purpose. Between them, bottles shimmer softly in the light, their pastel colors glowing like sunlight caught in glass. They hold seeds, droplets, and reflection, a small offering to the skies that never ask but always give. Sparrows come first, then finches, sometimes robins. They dip their beaks, tilt their heads, and sing without fear. Around them, marigolds open like smiles, asters sway, and the air fills with the hum of something sacred. It isn't grand, but it is alive. The gardener sits nearby, quiet, almost invisible, heart steady with the rhythm of wings and wind. This place, built from what once was discarded, now holds the sound of belonging. The bottles clink softly in the breeze, and sunlight plays across the glass like gentle laughter. Evening falls slowly. The birds linger longer than usual, their songs softer now, mingling with the rustle of leaves. The painted bricks catch the last gold of the day, holding it just a little longer before dusk. It's a corner of peace, not perfect, but pure. A reminder that kindness doesn't need to be spoken. It can be built. That beauty can arise not from what we add, but from what we restore. And when night arrives, the garden quiets, but the bottles still glimmer faintly under moonlight, like stars lowered to earth. The brick and bottle bird corner rests, a tender bridge between human care and nature's trust. Here, the world feels balanced. Here, renewal sings with wings. As the light fades and the day begins to rest, the garden softens into silence. The colors of the bricks, the shimmer of glass, and the gentle sway of flowers now blend into one quiet harmony. It feels as if the earth itself is breathing slowly, content and at peace. Here at Teraflora Studio, we believe that every corner of a home, every forgotten pot, every weathered surface, holds a seed of beauty waiting to be found. The simplest act of painting, planting, or reusing can turn what was ordinary into something that speaks to the heart. Perhaps today's ideas have sparked something inside you, a vision of your own backyard filled with warmth and color, or a simple wish to begin again, gently. That is the soul of this place, a reminder that art does not need perfection, only presence. As the last rays of sunlight brush across the garden, we invite you to carry these small pieces of inspiration with you. Let them bloom in your imagination, in your home, and in your hands. Each creation, no matter how small, adds a whisper of beauty to the world. This journey with Teraflora Studio was made with love, guided by human creativity and supported by artificial intelligence. A collaboration between thought and technology, both seeking harmony with nature. If our stories have brought you calm, joy, or inspiration, we warmly invite you to subscribe to Teraflora Studio. Stay with us, and together, let's keep transforming the simple into the extraordinary. One garden, one color, one quiet moment at a time. Because beauty, when shared softly, never truly fades.